The rain fell in sheets across Highway 27, drumming against the tin roof of a lonely roadside diner. Inside, Renee Carter wiped down the counter for the 5th time that night, humming softly to the old jukebox crooning in the corner. She'd opened Renee's Place 5 years ago after her husband died, a small sanctuary for truckers, travelers, and night shift souls. It wasn't fancy, but it was warm, smelled of coffee and cinnamon pie, and had a rule written in neon by the door. Everyone's welcome. That night, business was dead. The storm had scared off the usual crowd. Only the distant rumble of thunder and the hiss of the coffee pot kept her company. Renee was about to close early when she saw it, headlights cutting through the rain, weaving erratically before skidding to a stop right outside the diner. A man stumbled out, clutching his shoulder. His leather jacket gleamed wet under the red glow of her sign, and across the back she saw it. A skull with wings and a flaming halo. Hell's Angels. Her first thought was trouble. Her second was that he was hurt. He burst through the door, dripping water, eyes wild. "You gotta help me," he rasped. His voice was deep but strained. He looked like he'd gone 10 rounds with the world. Bruised face, torn sleeve, blood seeping between his fingers. "They're coming!" Renee froze for a moment, heart pounding. "Who's coming?" Before he could answer, blue and red lights flashed outside. Police sirens wailed, growing louder. He cursed under his breath. "Cops, please, lady, just give me a place to hide. 2 minutes, that's all I need." Renee looked at him. She didn't know his name, didn't know what crime he'd committed, but something in his eyes, fear, not defiance, had made her move. "Back door," she said, nodding toward the kitchen. He blinked, stunned, then followed her, limping. She pointed toward the pantry and yanked open a trapdoor beneath a stack of flour sacks. "Root cellar, go." He stared at her. "You don't even know me." "I don't need to," she said sharply. "You're bleeding on my floor, go." He slipped into the cellar just as the door burst open again. 2 state troopers stormed in, rain and authority dripping from their coats. "Evening, ma'am," one said. "We're looking for a fugitive biker, tattooed, injured, possibly armed. You seen anyone come through?" Renee raised an eyebrow and wiped her hands on a towel. "Only customers I had tonight are coffee and silence," she said. "You want pie?" The younger trooper scanned the room suspiciously, flashlight cutting across every surface. "You sure?" His bike's wrecked a mile up the road. Renee smiled politely. "Then he's probably halfway to Georgia by now. But I'll keep an eye out." The officers exchanged looks, then one muttered something about these backroad towns and left. The moment their lights disappeared, Renee locked the door and exhaled, her heart racing. She opened the trap door. "They're gone." The biker climbed up slowly, wincing. "You didn't have to do that," he said. "Yeah, well," she muttered, grabbing a first aid kit. "You're lucky I'm soft-hearted, not stupid. Sit." He sat at the counter, watching as she cleaned his wound. "What's your name?" she asked. "Cole Mercer," he said after a pause. "I didn't do what they think I did." "I didn't ask," she replied. "I know," he said quietly. "That's what makes it worse." She glanced at him, a face lined by pain, not malice. She could tell he wasn't lying. Something about the way he spoke, calm, measured, too tired to fake anything, felt real. He told her enough. He'd been trying to stop a rival gang from torching a community center his club had secretly helped fund. But when the cops arrived, they thought he was the one setting the fire. He'd fled, knowing they'd never believe a biker with a record. Renee listened, patched him up, and poured him a cup of coffee. "You got family?" she asked. "Just my brothers," he said. "And after tonight, maybe not even them." She nodded, understanding more than she said. "You can rest here until morning. There's a cot in the office." He gave her a look, surprise mixed with gratitude. "Why?" "Because someone once helped me when I didn't deserve it," she said softly. "Now drink your coffee before it gets cold." That was scene 1, the night a weary widow hid a wounded outlaw. Scene 2 came with dawn. The rain had stopped, but the silence outside felt heavier. Renee brewed another pot of coffee and looked out the window. She expected cops. Instead, she saw motorcycles. A lot of them. Dozens of chrome beasts rolled up the road, engines rumbling like thunder reborn. She counted nearly 100, all with the same winged skull insignia. Cole stood beside her, jaw tight. "That's my club," he said. "They must have heard what happened." Are they here for you or for me? She asked. Guess we'll find out. The lead rider, a tall, gray-bearded man with mirrored sunglasses, parked right in front of the diner. He stepped inside, scanned the place, and then his gaze fell on Cole. Brother, he said gruffly. Heard you had a rough night. Cole nodded. Wouldn't be standing if not for her, he said, nodding toward Renee. The man's eyes shifted to her, unreadable. Then to her shock, he removed his gloves and held out his hand. Name's Rex Dalton, president of the Hells Angels Alabama chapter. You helped one of ours. That makes you one of ours. Renee blinked. I just did what anyone decent would do. Rex smiled faintly. Decent's rare these days. You ever need us, you call. He nodded to his riders, and like a single organism, they all reached into their jackets and pulled something out. Not weapons, but envelopes. They stacked them neatly on her counter. For damages, Rex said simply, and gratitude. Renee opened one, saw the cash, and shook her head. I can't take this. You can, Rex said firmly. Because if word gets around that a woman stood up for one of us and we didn't stand up for her, we'd all be cowards. Cole watched quietly, eyes glinting. Told you they'd come. The rumble of engines filled the air again as the gang turned to leave. But before they did, Rex stopped at the door and looked back. We'll be back, he said. Not for trouble. For pie. That was scene 3, the morning 100 bikers lined up at a diner out of respect for one woman's courage. The last scene came a week later. The police came back, this time with an apology. The real arsonist had been caught and Cole's name was cleared. The officers, clearly embarrassed, offered to buy a slice to make amends. Renee smiled politely but didn't say much. Cole sat at his usual stool drinking coffee, healed but thoughtful. You ever think about slowing down? She asked. He chuckled. You ever think about speeding up? She smirked. Fair enough. He looked around at the diner, the humming neon sign, the smell of bacon, the laughter of a few truckers. Feels like home, he said quietly. It's open to everyone, she replied. When the lunch crowd arrived, she heard it again. The deep rolling thunder of motorcycles. A long line of them shining in the sun. They parked neatly, helmets off, leather jackets patched and proud. Each one walked in, nodded to Renee and ordered the same thing, coffee and pie. She moved from table to table, laughing, serving, refusing tips. The place that had been empty for years was suddenly full of life, of gratitude, of loyalty earned by a single act of kindness. That night, as she turned off the lights, she looked at the wall. Between the old photos and the vintage signs, there now hung something new. A Hells Angels jacket signed by every member who'd been there. Across the back, someone had stitched, Renee's place where angels eat. She smiled, locked the door and whispered into the quiet. Guess everyone really is welcome. Outside, the sound of engines faded into the distance, carrying with them the story of a woman who risked everything to save a stranger and found a family she never expected.